Hi, this is Astro Girish here, and thank you for tuning into my channel. As it is, I have always promised to come out with some tutorials in astrology. Today I've come out with another new topic in astrology. It's a very interesting topic. I'm sure the audience will appreciate it. And before I proceed, let me once again thank the audience who have given some fantastic comments on my comment box and also on my Facebook Messenger. Okay. Off late, I'm also receiving appreciation in my WhatsApp group. I would request people to please drop in those comments on the comment box in YouTube. Okay, especially if you had a good experience working with me. Of course, any feedback is welcomed. I'm not here to only promote my achievement, but I want people to know what kind of feedback is coming in general, right? Especially with regard to tutorials, right? Today I would talk about houses in general, the 12 houses in astrology. In fact, in the past I've already done one video on the first house. Okay, so this video is going to be on the second house, right? What does second house signify in the natal chart? How is it important? And by default, see, houses also gets connected with other respective houses. Okay, unfortunately not many people know how does it get connected, but they do get connected in general. In fact, I've already done a video on how to read a natal chart. I've given the description on the the description. I've given the link in the description box. So I would request you to go through that, because each of those videos will talk about how to validate a chart, how to read a natal chart, how to make corrections in time, and then how does the signification works. Right, so it's been carefully, put in a sequence so that the audience are able to get connected. Right. So today I would be, talking about the second house, and let's see what the second house stands in general. Right. See, second house in general stands for the Earth Sthan. Right. It stands for the house of economics, money, bank balance, your position in general, right? So second house is very important house in a natal chart. So if you do not have a good second house, I won't say a strong second house, a good second house, you're likely to have problems with earnings, with regard to earnings, with regard to your family connections, so on and so forth, right? So second house, as I said, it stands for the house of earth, which is economics. It also stands for Vakstan. Vak means to speak. It's a house of communication, oral communication in general. Okay. It also stands for your family. The size of the family can also be assessed from the second house. Okay. Like for example, if you have a connection with Jupiter in the second house, I'm slightly digressing to give an example. You are likely to have more of cousins getting connected with you, right, in some way or the other. So second house is very important, and their connection with planets and houses determines the strength of the second house, not the Ashtag Varga. A lot of people say the total Ashtag Varga will decide about the strength of the second house. It need not be correct always, okay, because Ashtag Varga, it talks only about the Varg. It doesn't talk about what happens when a Dasha changes, So that's the reason the planetary connection with the respective houses are more important. And again, the house getting connected with the other respective houses are also very important, right? Out here, I would be talking about the connection of second house with the respective 12 houses, right? So let's take one by one and see how does it work. Second house getting connected with the first house. Okay, first house is yourself, is a Tanu Bhava, right? See, whenever the second house gets connected with the first house, the person is a self-made man or a self-made woman. Okay, because the person puts efforts to make his own earnings. So whenever second house and first house gets connected, it's actually a kind of Raj Yoga. Planets play a role. Okay, we'll talk about them separately. But whenever second house gets connected with the first house, the person puts efforts to earn, and they are likely to earn very well, right? Again, they are likely to have an excellent oral communication. Excellent oral communication. They are very expressive. Okay, first house is yourself, second house is your facial expression. So they normally give a fantastic facial expression. Okay, they're very, they look at your eyes and they talk. See, there's some of the good qualities that they have when second house gets connected with the first house, right? They're also very intelligent, also food loving. Okay, so I probably brought in these two contrast points, but yes, I have seen these qualities. Whenever second house gets connected with the first house, they're very foodie, they love food. Also, whenever second house gets connected with the first house, they're very intelligent. There is a perfect combination of the brain and their expression. That's the reason they're very intelligent, right? Now, let's see what happens when second house itself gets connected with second house. Okay, see, this is a very good Raj Yoga. Okay, because whenever second house is very strong, the person makes money from every corner. Only exception is Saturn and Ketu. Other than this, if any other planets gets connected with second house, fantastic flow of money. The best is Jupiter and Venus, followed by Sun and Mercury, right? So second house signifying second house itself, it's a very good Raj Yoga. Very, very good Raj Yoga. They easily make money in their life, or else they are blessed with multiple avenues to make money, right? Also, when second house strongly signifies second house, they're likely to have a large family, not a joint family, a large family. So they will have extended cousins, sometimes they may have two families staying in the same house. Okay, maybe you have two mothers to stay with. I've seen cases where the husband has two wives and both of them live in the same house, especially if you have a second house signifying second house strongly. So these are some combinations that you would find when second house is very strong and again getting connected with the second house itself, right? Now let's see what happens when second house gets connected with the third house. Okay, see, normally what happens, third house stands for your inclination. This is again a kind of Raj Yoga. The person has got a strong tendency and inclination to earn money when second house gets connected with the third house. They are generally a kind of gamblers. They take risk wherever it is necessary. They are not speculators. There's a difference between the two. They are risk takers, I would say so. They will say, fine, let me put the money and see whether I'm going to get the return or no. And invariably they do get. Okay, so second house getting connected with the third house is again good to make money. However, I have not seen them having a substantial bank balance. I'm not saying they don't have bank balance, but a substantial bank balance they do lack, because normally what happens, second house negates the third house. So your outflow of money is large, usually very high. This is one area where I feel you can work out. But this is one combination that I've seen whenever second house gets connected with the third house. The other problem is there is always a tendency to spend more on your younger siblings. See, third house is younger sibling, right? It could be your brother or your sister. So I've seen people having second house getting connected with the third house. They take the responsibility of their younger sibling, maybe in the form of sponsoring their education, maybe sponsoring their marriage. Okay, maybe even taking care of their livelihood. There are cases where I've seen, among the siblings, the elder one takes care of the younger one. So these are some of the qualities what you have when the second house gets connected with the third house. Okay. Also, I've seen if second house gets connected with the third house, your father-in-law is also willing to help you. Because third house is actually the father of your spouse, that is the seventh house. So if third house gets connected with the second house, I've seen the father-in-law coming forward to help you monetarily. Okay, it could be from either side, the girl side or the boy side, but father-in-laws, they come forward to help you, right? Now let's see what happens when second house gets connected with fourth house. This is again a Raj Yoga, because fourth house stands for your mother, property, vehicle, materialistic possessions, right? And whenever you have second house getting connected with the fourth house, you get benefit from your mother. You get your mother's property, or your mother's ladla, so your mother keeps giving you some pocket money on and off, right? If you have a property in the name of your mother, that gets transferred in your name. Okay, or you would own more of property because fourth house stands for property and second house is a possession. So there is a lot of wealth being created. I've seen people having more than one vehicle if second house and fourth house gets connected. Again, the exception is Saturn and Ketu. I'll come down to that little later. Okay. But second house getting connected with fourth house is actually a Raj Yoga. Very good. Very good way to see, or rather very good way of expanding your income through properties, or even through the blessings of your mother. Right? Then again, another Raj Yoga. Second house getting connected with the fifth house. Excellent combination. See, these are the people who make money easily and quickly through speculation. This is the house of speculation. This is not the house of gambling, and that too organized speculation, which is recognized by the government, like putting money in stock market, bullion market, taking part in horse race and making money out of it. So these are some good qualities that they have. Okay. Also, I have seen after the childbirth, the first childbirth, there is an improvement in your financial position, because fifth house is your child. It could be a male child or a female child, that doesn't matter. But normally when second house gets connected with the fifth house, there is an improvement in your financial position, or there is a new beginning in your financial chapter. So a lot of people who are employed earlier, they start some business on their own after the childbirth. Right, especially the first childbirth. So second house connected with the fifth house is very good. Right. Now let's see what happens with second house gets connected with the sixth house. Again, not a bad placement, but the person will have a tendency to seek more of credit, more of loan, okay, to deal with their financial commitments. So sometimes what happens, it goes out of control. That is the only point, or that is the only time when you have to be a bit more careful. Otherwise, second house getting connected with the sixth house is not bad. The other negative point is, I have seen people having second house connecting with the sixth house, they have a tendency to fall for some kind of an addiction. Either it could be drinking or smoking. The planets play a role here, right? For example, if Venus gets connected with second house and the sixth house, the tendency is to consume alcohol or some kind of a chemical, right? A fluid chemical rather, that intoxicates you. Or if Sun or Mars gets connected with the second house and the sixth house, they have a tendency to smoke. So this is the only negative side when you have second house getting connected with the sixth house, right? Now let's see what happens when second house gets connected with the seventh house. This is again a Raj Yoga, especially getting manifested after the marriage. So you have seen a lot of cases, right, where the person is mediocre prior to getting married, or prior to getting married. Once they get married, they attain prosperity in all possible ways. This is that combination. Again, planet plays a role, but in general, this connection has to establish, right? I've also seen the wife brings, or the spouse brings money to the person once he gets married. So as I said, it brings prosperity in all general. Monetary gain is the first thing that is easily seen, right? Now let's see what happens with second house gets connected with the eighth house. See, this is again, I would say it's a Raj Yoga. Okay. Why? Because your ancestral property is in the eighth house. So if you are getting your ancestral property, your eighth house should have a connection with the second house as well as the fifth house. Alright. But second house and eighth house means you have money coming your way. It may be a little troubled. There can be some obstacles at times, but it is not denied. Right. So 8th house and 2nd house is also a good combination, not a bad one. Now let's see what happens when 2nd house gets connected with the 9th house. See, 9th house is fortune. 2nd house is for money. So 2nd house, 9th house has to be a great combination. You get easy money, very easy money, right? Again, planets play a role, except for Saturn and Ketu. All other planets are very good when they get connected to the 2nd house and the 11th house. All right. Now let's see what happens with 2nd house gets connected with the 10th house. This is the perfect combination for business. All the great business people, they will have a connection with the 2nd house and the 10th house. If you do not have this combination, trust me, you're not going to be a famous businessman. A wealthy businessman, not a famous businessman. Fame is slightly different, but definitely not a wealthy businessman. Mukesh Ambani, to quote an example, has got this combination. I've seen some more natal charts, Mr. Goenka of the Indian Express Group, they have this combination. So these are some good combination that they have. Okay. So second house getting connected with the 10th house is actually very good combination, and this makes people prosperous, right? Again, second house 11th house combination, extremely good, easy money in your life. 11th house is all form of achievements, second house is for money, so easy form of money, except Saturn and Ketu should not have a connection with the second house and the 11th house. See, always remember, Saturn is a problematic planet in astrology. I have a problem where people say Saturn is a planet of only delay, it will not create denial. Please understand, Saturn means delay as well as denial in many cases. There is only one exception where Saturn will not deny. When Saturn gets connected with Sun and then gives a result. See, that is the area where my style of looking at astrology and the people who generally give astrological predictions is totally different. I'm not saying I'm absolutely correct or my way of predicting is the right way, but at least you should be in a position to prove your stand where I'm able to do that, right? So, second house, 11th house combination is excellent except when Ketu and Saturn gets connected. Otherwise, it's a very, very good combination. Again, now let's see what happens with second house getting connected with the 12th house. See, 12th house is all forms of loss. Here we will take all kind of expenditure. So whenever second house gets connected with the 12th house, your tendency to invest, your tendency to spend money is actually very high. Here again, there is a combination where the person may not be in a position to save well. Like in the second and the third house connection, I have seen people finding it difficult to save money. Similarly, second house and 12th house combination, I have seen people very poor when it comes to their savings. So ideally, I advise them, you spend money to save your money, which means you take money from one bank balance and put it in another bank balance. That is one way of doing it. Do not touch the second bank balance, or have a recurring kind of an investment, recurring deposit or a SIP mutual fund. Mind you, I am not endorsing any product. I am just giving you an example as to how can you improve your savings. If nothing, you can hand over that money to your spouse's hands. That is also as good as savings. Okay. So please do not quote me that I have endorsed any particular scheme of investment. No, I do not do that. Okay. I'm just quoting an example here. You can have a recurring deposit or a systematic investment fund and mutual fund or any other form where you can constantly keep contributing on a regular basis. Any kind of an annuity plan, chit fund, or a lot of people have a tendency to invest in a jewelry scheme, where it's like you build a certain fund, and with that fund you buy jewelry, maybe after a period of 1 year or 2 years, whatever it is. Okay, so these are some of the ways through which you can save money. So otherwise, second house getting connected with the 12th house, so expenditure will be the only problem that you need to bother about, right? Now, as I said, all the planets are very good in the second house, again, except Saturn and Ketu. Ketu is the weakest planet in the whole of astrological system. So whenever Ketu gets connected to the second house, the person will be absolutely careless with regards to his money matters. I have seen people losing money only because they have Ketu in the second house. They are so naive that they do not know how to even keep counting. They don't know even to count. I mean, I've seen people being absent-minded. They go to a shop, they buy something, they may give 500 rupees. It may cost 175, and they will not be even in a position to check out for the balance. So they are a little poor in that area, right? So I've seen this problem happening when Ketu gets connected to the second house. They're very careless with their money matters. So that's the reason they are always unhappy with their money. See, Ketu is actually a non-materialistic planet, and second house is a materialistic planet, materialistic house. So how can these two divergent qualities come together? There would be some shortcoming, right? Similarly, when Saturn gets connected with the second house, the person will only struggle to make money. I've seen this in many charts. Saturn plays in the second house or signifying the second house, they will never be in a position to earn good money. That's the reason these two are the only two planets as an exception. Add to this, if you have a retrograde planet getting connected with the second house, that is also equally bad. I've done a separate video on the 5 planets that can turn retrograde and gets connected with various houses. The links are again provided in the description box. I would request the audience to go through them to have a fair understanding, right? So that's all from my side today. I hope the audience liked the video that I've come out with. As usual, if you have anything to consult me, you can drop me a WhatsApp message and I will revert back to you. Again, if you are interested to learn astrology under me, you can again drop me a message in the WhatsApp group, number that has been given in the box below, or drop me an email and you can expect the response coming back, right? So that's all from my side today. I would like to sign off for the time being. A humble request, kindly like the video, share the video, also subscribe the channel, right? So that's all from my side today. This is Astro Girish here. Thank you.